circuits are energized. Clear all terminals and retreat to safe zones to prepare for ignition. All systems go. All systems go.
Welcome, everybody, to The Next Level. This is going to be an overly amazing episode of The Next Level because I'm joined by my man, Josh Thunder Shaver, the one and only.
Hey-o.
Nobody else has that name but him.
There's a couple, and it's going to be a fight soon.
There really is. The one and only. But there's only one Josh Thunder Shaver.
Absolutely.
Right? That's right.
Absolutely.
And just like there's only one amazing Barry Carenza with Premium Edition Games, who is joining us here. He has been our guest before on the other show we used to do called the Dragon Cast, which this is an extension of. And Barry, how's it going, man? How you doing?
Hey, it's always great to be here and talk with you, Brian, and you know, Josh, and it's going. It's going. It's busy.
Is it going amazing though? That's
what
I
want to know. You know what? It is going amazingly. I will say that. Yes.
I'll try to limit my my use of the word.
As long as you're having fun, that's all that matters.
Hey, man, I am having a blast. So Barry joins us after Premium Edition Games announced back on May, so a week ago from when you guys are watching this episode. They did their Series 4 Direct, had a lot of great. See, I almost said it, but I didn't. I stopped myself. Announcements for their Series 4 Direct. Of course, what I love about these releases and these announcements is a lot of these games I'm not familiar with. I think a lot of these games some of the people are not familiar with. But that's the beautiful part of what you guys do is you guys go after games that only have had a digital release, that have not yet had a physical release. And here, there's one game in particular that I've heard of that I'm a very big fan of, and I'm really glad you guys are doing a physical release of it. We'll get to that in just a second. But I gotta ask you, Barry, let's get through here. So we've got the first game I want to talk about is we have here Walther DX, and this is a platformer, correct? This is a platformer.
It is a puzzle platformer.
It's a puzzle platformer. So I gotta know, like, you guys, I've asked you this before when you guys are kind of going and scouting out, I guess, new games to add for your next series. What was the process like this time around? Was it any different than it had been before when it comes to scouting potential digital games you want to turn into physical releases? Switch games, by the way. You guys only do Switch games right now.
Yeah, every game is different. Sometimes the developers reach out to us. Sometimes we reach out to the developers. Sometimes we discover games due to a trailer. Sometimes we discover the games due to conventions. So everything is always different. And I don't want to say, this is always this way.
Yes.
Wonderling was a passion project, and one of our members was fortunate enough to meet the developers and fell in love, and we started calls, and we've had Wonderling signed for quite a while. But we were waiting because they were telling us, we're doing new content. And one of the things we try and always do when applicable is to make sure that the full game is on the cart. When you purchase any of our titles, you're getting everything.
Yes.
And like in the early talks, they were talking about even Walther DX being the physical exclusive. But then they're like, we're just going to do the digital. We're going to do it the whole 9 yards. But once they gave us the go ahead and like, all right, the DX update's out, we're good to go. We're so, okay, that's the version we're going to put on cart. We're going to get that now that it's done. And it just so happened to work perfectly for where we're going to go with Series 4. So it was put in that series. Absolutely.
So currently, as it stands, the only two games in Series 4 right now are Walther DX, and then you have, this is my favorite, Rain on Your Parade. I love this game so much. This game, you play as a cloud, and you're literally raining on different objects to get through various missions. It's a cute game. My wife looked at me and she's like, you better pick this up. And I'm like, okay, I like it because it's such a cute game. I won't give it away. there are some really great references to other games in this game. One in particular, there's a really big reference. It's a whole entire level dedicated to a certain video game, which I'm not going to give away for those who've never played this game before. It was a game that was on Xbox Game Pass. It's no longer on Xbox Game Pass, I don't think. But if you haven't played this game, this is a perfect opportunity to pick it up because you get the retro edition with this one, correct?
Well, both games come with the standard and retro.
Both games come with the standard and retro.
Yep,
yeah,
everyone gets both.
And this game is a ton of fun. There's a lot of levels.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot of things you can do in this game. Plus, there's some exclusive things you can do in this version, correct?
Well, this version is...
It was the DLC, correct?
Yeah, that's again one of those things where we talked with them and they said, well, do you have any future plans for DLC? And they said, no, it's just the one pack. And we said, well, we want to sign the game, but we want that DLC on the card. We want it to be the complete version. So that's the version that you're going to get when you purchase the premium edition version. You're going to get the full game with the added DLC.
Right.
And that's paid DLC too. Like Wonderling is an update, but we're still giving you the update. This is actually additional paid DLC. It's still coming onto the card.
Yes.
That's awesome.
That's amazing. And I'm curious, is that something that you guys want to make sure that you do every single game? Is
every release? You
want the entire game, any DLC or any extras that come with that is that how it's always gonna be from, it has been that way. I know
it's going to be that way to the best of our ability. And what I say is, like, if there's an amazing game that's like fully complete, like picture like a Breath of the Wild style game, and there's going to be some DLC, but that's going to come, a year or two later, and they really want the game out now. Like, we might make if this game is enough on its own, and if it's a really good get, absolutely. But that's something we always try and do. Is we want to, we'll delay releasing a game. A Robot Named Fight was one of the first games we signed. We put that to Series 2 because there was updates coming. We wanted to make sure that was there. And we really want people to know when you're purchasing a premium edition title, you're going to get the latest version. I can't promise there won't be a bug fix or something like down the road, because no one can, but everything passes lot check with Nintendo. So they approve it. So we want to make sure it's as complete as possible.
Mm-hmm. And then you guys also teased Raji and Ancient Epic, which is a fantastic game. That is an amazing game that I had sent to me to check out. And it's a gorgeous, gorgeous game that for some reason I didn't realize was on the Switch.
Oh, yeah. In fact, it made its premiere at an indie world. Yeah.
And it's cool you guys are doing that later. I know you guys. Is that something that's going to eventually be part of Series 4, or is that
no? That's a Series 5 release.
That's a Series 5.
So that was our tease. Like our first direct, we teased Robot for Series 2, and our second direct, we teased Cathedral for Series 3. This was a tease for Series 5, but it's not just the game. They're working on the Enhanced Edition, which is updating, the graphics, and they're changing some stuff, and they're adding like Indian language and a bunch of other stuff. That's the version that we're going to be putting on card. It's the Enhanced Edition.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. Now I know. I was reading the comments, and this is just part of my journalism. This is what I have to do. You've had people talking kind of about the price increase, and I have to ask, Barry. I know you're my buddy, but we got to talk about.
You got to talk about.
What was the reason for making them now? I believe they're $49.99 now. What was what was that initial conversation like?
Okay.
What led to that?
It's a $10 price increase, a flat. So the retro editions, it's not. It's this, it's instead of 60, it's now 70. It's not $10 in addition. So
sure.
So it's not going to be like $80 kind of like we're just a flat 10. And the reason, the main reason when we were looking at it was costs of everything going up, right? Post 2020. We're getting constant emails from our suppliers all the time, like plastic is going up, and the plastic for the switch cases is going up, the plastic for the shrink wrap is going up, the delivery is going up because gas is going up. Like all these things start to hit. And we don't it's not like one facility builds our stuff. We have a bunch of different facilities that manufacture, and then they ship to one central location, which is then, everything comes together. So that obviously takes its toll, and has been taking its toll. And we've been like weighing this. Now, one thing we also wanted to do is we wanted to up our game. We wanted to, up the quality. And one of the things we did is we looked at our slipcases that we have in our manuals, and and we said we could do better. Like they're good,
Yeah.
people love them, but they're kind of
Yeah.
flimsy. We know that they're flimsy. They're um, so we updated them, we upgraded them.
Right.
They're thicker now. They're brand new, thicker cardboard. They've got a matte finish. They've got a foil. They've got the manuals are thicker and better quality, and they've got matte and foil and all that stuff. So upgrading that will cost a little bit extra too, but we
Sure.
felt we wanted to give that extra premium quality to all our releases. So we did include that on Series 3. We said let's do it for Series 3, even though the price is the same. This way everyone can see, because it's one thing for me to tell you this. It's another thing for you to see it yourself, and especially if you have a Series 1 or 2 release, and then you get a Series 3 in the mail, and you go, oh, I can see a difference. And we actually debuted this with one of our announcements that we had recently, which is our partnership with Gamers for Gamers, where we gained Josh and Sheena on our team from Gamers for Gamers, and we did talk about that in the direct. They have a charity called Gamers for Kids, so they're doing special variants for our releases, and those variants are going to be 20% more, but that 20% goes to Gamers for Kids. And that charity, what they do is they put consoles and games and TVs and everything in group homes and foster homes. Like they really want to make it so that children who are not in the best of situations at least get to play some video games and have some fun. So you're actually helping build the next level of gamers by doing so, and you're rewarded with a brand new variant of the titles. So those, we are very limited on the webpage. The rest of them are sold only at conventions, and we're doing that, and we're really happy about that, because it does get, not only does it help the charity, but it also allows us to showcase a new piece of art, because we love art. We love doing different art pieces, and sometimes there's just too many pieces of art. So this gives us a new one. So if anyone has ordered the Gamers for Gamers variant of Demon's Tier, which is how we premiered it, which is a Series 2 title, you would see the new, and if you see the video in this, you could see the matte finish,
awesome.
you can see the shine, you can see the foil that we use, and you can see, if I take out the game, you can see the thickness in the cardboard, and you can hear it's really sturdy cardboard now used, and it's so much nicer when comparison. It's so nice that people who have gotten it are asking us to redo the Series 1 and 2 titles with this new cardboard, and it's something we might do in the future, but we really wanted to up the quality, and with the the way the world is now, we're a small company, there's no secret, we don't have millions in the bank kind of deal. So unfortunately, things like COVID have hurt small businesses, and we regret to do it. Like, it was a decision we didn't come to lightly. It's like, well, what do we do? Keep in mind that all of these purchases do include tax, with the US, so it's not so bad. But it's
I was because I was in the live chat, and there was a lot of people that were upset, and that's why I wanted to address it. Because me personally, like having known a lot of developers and having talked with a lot of video game companies and having other friends that are indie game developers and things like that, it's different, because I kind of know. Whereas a lot of people that are on the outside, they're quick to get upset about a price increase, where I'm like, hey, not only have I worked in retail for over 20 years, I know people that are in the indie game development industry, and it's not easy. It's not. I'm sure for you guys, having only been out for, about 2 years now? The struggle is still there, I'm sure, in ways. And you have to try to find ways to cushion that.
Absolutely. And we hate having to, but we've also done other things, because that's, one of the things is we listen to our customers, and we do everything we can. And one of the biggest complaints when we launched was international shipping was very expensive. And that was what was done by USPS. We've found a way to significantly lower international shipping now. So it's like, hey, you know what? We're listening. We're doing what we can to the best of our ability. And we know, are we perfect? No, nowhere near. But we are listening, and we're trying, and we understand that some people may not like the $50, the $50 price tag, the $10 increase. I get that. As a collector, I get that. And all I can say is, hopefully you give a chance and you see the quality, you see what you're getting, you see you're getting you know, and I saw someone said like, oh, this, you know, the price of a AAA Nintendo game at release at Walmart, and I'm like, have you bought a Nintendo game lately? Like the games are great, but
Yeah,
the
I
packaging
actually
is
just looked at that
terrible.
comment. Was gonna address that.
Like they're terrible. Like you open
They're
them up and it's
awful.
white inside. There's no manual.
Nothing.
It's just like it's
Yeah.
bare bones. And this is
Yeah.
Nintendo AAA and first party. And I'm like, really, guys? You know,
See, for me as a collector, I look at it from the mindset of a collector. I don't know how. I would love to know, and I don't know how you guys are able to gauge this. How many people are buying these games as a casual? Because that happens, right? There's casual gamers who just, I go to GameStop to buy a game, and that is it. I do not buy this to collect. Now, me personally, there was a time when I was that way, but now that I'm so balls deep, if you will, into gaming, that it's not. There are times when I still casually go play games, but I'm all about collecting. And you're absolutely right. As Switch games are just very bare bones. You open it, and I think someone, who is it? John Riggs. It's really funny because there's a John Riggs connection here with you guys too. We'll get to that in a second. If you haven't watched John Riggs, by all means go do it. I think I binged John Riggs last night for 2 hours. I'm not ashamed to admit it. The man is awesome. He's very knowledgeable in the world of retro gaming, and if you want to watch him, by all means, he's amazing at it. But he brought up the fact that Switch games are very bare bones. You open it and you just get the little cup cart, and sometimes you're lucky if it has a reversible sleeve. And there's not many, at least I know in my collection anyway, there's not. But let me tell you something. When you get one of these, yes, I have them too. You're getting more than that. You're getting a great slipcover. This is going to sound like an ad. I don't really care. You get a great slipcover, right? Which this one was done by Paul E. Niemeyer, which an awesome artist. And look at this, dude. It comes in like this really cool, it looks like an NES cart sleeve.
Yeah, actually, we upgraded those too. So those are even thicker now and more matte.
Shiny. I love it.
Yes.
And then, you know, now if this was the Walmart version, you would just get this, right? Like,
yeah.
this is all you get.
Nothing.
But even inside here, you open this up, and you get a challenge card, which I love these. You can trade in, and you can get a patch sent to you. Okay? You get an old school style NES looking booklet. I miss instruction booklets, by the way.
Me too.
God dang it.
Yes.
I miss instruction booklets. I love instruction booklets.
It's like the best part of getting a new game in the 90s was going home and reading the book. You know, you didn't get to, because I grew up way out in the middle of nowhere. So, you know, it'd be like a 30, 40-minute drive back home. I'd be reading that book the whole way, just like, I'm going to play the crap out of Super Mario 2.
Well, hell, even when you went to, there was a place, I'm from the east side of Indy. I grew up in the hood. We had a place called Discount Rental. It was a video rental store. It wasn't Blockbuster. It was a little bit before Blockbuster. Even when you rented video games, at least my games are, they came in a little clear thing. You open up, and they still had an instruction book in it. They even had what you go to Walmart, you're not going to get all that for $49.99. Nope. I'm sorry, this is not how that's going to work. And the thing is, as a collector with a new company, like such as yourselves, I expect you guys to up your game.
Yeah. And
how can I, as a collector, ask you guys or expect from you guys to still charge the same price and give me more? I can't expect that. That's not business and market wise. That's not fair to ask or expect. No. And
another thing that people don't take into consideration either is, you know, with our developers is we give them a percentage of the MSRP
of the sales. Yeah.
So when it goes up, they are actually making more money as well. So the developers are actually making more money as well. So that's another factor. It's like we have to, but we're also giving more to the developers this way. And that, obviously they're a little happier. So we want to keep them happy and make sure that they're taken care of. What's
really funny, I don't think I told you this, Barry. I know we talk quite often on Twitter. I went to a convention. I think it was Indiana. It was it PopCon last year or something? But it was in Indianapolis, and I went, and there was a game booth, and they had a lot of you guys' stuff sealed that they were selling for like twice the price. All right, so if someone buys it secondhand and chooses to do that, that's That's on them. Yeah.
You know, and here's the deal. You always see this. People will buy on eBay for more expensive. Like, well, why? It's still available. And the reason is they aren't aware of that. They might have seen someone post a pickup, go, ooh, what's that? And go to eBay. Oh, here it is. Let me buy it now. I've done things like that too. We've all had when you're
I've
not
done that.
knowledgeable
Guilty.
about where you can purchase games and about all the companies, and there's a lot, so it's totally understandable. And that's one of the things we've noticed going forward with each series is that our outreach is bigger, our sales are better, and we're just want to get the word. We're doing conventions and we're meeting all these new people, and a lot of people have never heard of us, and it's just like that's why we're here. We want to get you to know us so you understand who we are. And we urge people, like, sign up for a mailing list. This way you get all the news and you don't miss out, and you get the updates and the unboxings and all that wonderful jazz, because we try and be as transparent as possible. Are we perfect? No, but we do everything we can to put updates in multiple locations, and and when all fails, people, you still email us and we will answer you and take care of you.
Transparency means a lot. I won't talk about the specifics of the other game, but there's another game that's coming out next week, and I went all in with my personal money to buy the Super Deluxe Edition. I still don't have a tracking, and this comes out Friday. Yeah. And I sent them an email, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, we're so sorry. We'll get you back on Monday. You should have it by then." It's like, okay, I really appreciate that transparency. If you would have just been like, "Wait for your game," I probably would have still been a little upset,
Well, as long as they can get you a tracking. I know we had an issue personally. And this is something we're also doing, and on top of everything else, because we'll be shipping Series 3 here and Robot Deluxe and all that, is because everything came in at the same time. We're switching warehouses, and one of the reasons we're doing that is our warehouse that we were using for Series 1 and 2. It had this lack of communication with Shopify, which is what our store is based on, where after 45 days. Their system wouldn't talk and update to Shopify, and Shopify would not update to them. So when we had orders shipping, nobody was getting updated tracking. So people were like, "Oh, I didn't even know this was shipped," and it was like, yeah, because they weren't communicating. So we've had to in the past sit there and manually update thousands of orders tracking, which is like, this is a waste of time. We shouldn't have to do this. They should communicate. And we tried to talk to our warehouse, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll look into it." And unfortunately, that didn't happen. We said, we're going to take matters into our own hands. We're gonna do things better for the customer. So that's something we are doing. But it's also a transition period, so it's like, bear with us. It's rocky, but we'll get there.
One thing I wanted to touch on, Barry, was now that you guys have been around a few years, and now you're coming up on your fourth series. Mm-hmm. I've been curious about this, and I wanted to wait till now to ask you about it. Is you guys are not you're not the only company that does this, that does this sort of thing. Do you guys get those comparisons to places like Limited Run and things like that? Have you, and what sort of comparisons, or how do you handle those types of comparisons? I've been curious about that.
We'll always get comparison, just like any other company, to other companies. Absolutely. And all we tell people is the same thing we feel. We don't feel anybody as competition. We feel we're all in the same space. That's good. We're all doing cool things. We're all helping amazing developers get their games out physically in one way or another. Absolutely. We are a team of collectors. We support every single other studio out there. We purchase their games, and that's just it. We don't look at anyone and say you're the villain. Do we love the stuff they do? Yes. Do we think everyone's perfect? No. Just like anything else. Are we perfect? No. So it's just a matter of we all coexist in the same space. And if one of them appeared right in front of me, I would reach out my hand and say, it's nice to meet you. I love your stuff. Yeah. Let's drink. Let's have a talk over a drink.
Let's have a few drinks or whatever. I think the thing is, and that's the problem, especially in the gaming space, is gamers want there to be conflict. It's so stupid. I'm not a fan of the console wars. I didn't even like it in the 90s. And I've had Tom Kolinsky, the guy responsible for a lot of that. And I think a lot of times, and he even was talking to me how he didn't really like that so much. He got caught up in it with Nintendo, and they went to court and all that shit. And it's a thing. But you have guys like, Phil Spencer's always congratulating PlayStation.
Yeah.
Sony's always congratulating Microsoft. But you don't see that within the gaming community. It's always this one has to always be better than the other, and you're either a fanboy of this and a fanboy of that, and you can't be. But I'm both. I like it all, man. I love Nintendo.
Yeah.
I have all the consoles, man. I love that stuff.
Here's the thing: when the console wars were happening, in the 16-bit and even prior to that, the main reason those were happening, not obviously, from a marketing point of view, it was corporate, trying to take digs to make themselves look better.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But from a school ground, it was, usually you only had one system, and you had to stand behind your system, and you had to do whatever you could to make yourself feel better about the system that you had.
That's right.
And a lot of and the way a lot of people do, just in general, to make themselves feel better, they will put down other people. And it's like, oh, well, at least my situation isn't as bad as them. And humans as a society love drama to the point that that's what soap operas are. Soap operas were created for housewives that were at home so that they could live out fantasies and see all this stuff happening to them and have an exciting experience while they're at home vacuuming and doing whatever, they were doing back then. And that's why that even exists. It's to tap into that market of, I want drama, I want to experience drama, but I don't want it to happen in my life. And some people just try and stir up drama for the sake of drama. I love
so stupid.
I love all systems. I love all companies. Now, me saying that doesn't mean I think every company's perfect. Like, I love Nintendo, but I will be super critical of Nintendo of America and Nintendo Japan, and I will call them out when I feel they are not doing the right thing. And I feel that way about any company because I'm a consumer, and I want them to do that to us. If someone feels that we're not doing something right or that we could do something better, that's why we want the feedback. Now, don't say, you stupid idiots, you should do this, blah, blah, blah.
Like, you guys suck.
Say it like politely. Let's have a conversation.
I hate that,
And, we will do what we can to accommodate if we can, but we always take feedback seriously. We always take into consideration. Like I said, one of the big things was international shipping. We heard you. How could we do it? We revisited, we looked at it, and we found a way to make it cheaper for everybody. We understood that was something that people were griping about, and it's an understandable gripe. We all, and even the increase, we understand that there are some people upset. We hear you. We hear you. We just want you to give a chance. Take a look at what the series offers. Take a look at the games. Take a look at the packaging, and you know what? If you say, well, I don't feel X game is worth that, that's okay too. You know why? Because there'll be another game. And we value everybody that supports us, whether they supported us for one game or every game. You're all important to us. And we feel that way about every other company in this industry too.
I think the problem, Barry, is that we as a society, and this could go beyond gaming, but we're going to keep it in this realm because we're going to get to that. I think the problem is, and you've seen me tweet about this stuff before. I'm very vocal about a lot of things. But I think the problem with our society is we haven't found this balance of it's okay to support a company and it's also okay to criticize them.
Yes.
I don't own Sony, man. I don't have a stake in Sony. I don't have a stake in Nintendo. Hell, you don't even have a stake in Nintendo, and you are the one putting out physical copies of their digital game, right?
Fair point.
We don't have a stake in these companies, but yet we act like we do. And I get that, like, we have slapped our money down on premium edition games. We've slapped our money down on Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo. I get that, but at the same time, it's like we act as if it's this company we work for, and if we're not defending them, we're gonna get fired. Well, they're gonna fire me as their fan if I don't defend them to the bone. It's like, no, it's okay. And I will say, and I'm not gonna say specifically who, but there are groups out there that do this more than others. Okay, there are brands that do this more than others. There are people that defend their brand more than others. And me, it's like, I saw people somewhat trying to do that to you guys, and I'm like, no, it's like, give them criticism, but you can still like them too. It's okay to like premium edition and criticize them
Yep.
I mean, I wasn't criticizing you guys for raising your prices because I get it at the end of the day, but I'm sure I'm sure there's gonna be something I might criticize you guys for, but I still like you guys. Like,
Exactly.
I do. Like,
You know what?
You
Here's
know?
what I feel about criticism, right? Criticism isn't a negative. Criticism is wanting a company to do better because you
Yes.
expect
I
them
agree.
to do better, and you want to hold them to a higher, regard and a higher level. And if a company will look at criticism and go, you know, I don't want to hear it, you're dead to me, that's not
That's the
growth.
problem. That's
That's
toxic.
not growth. You
Yeah.
need to be able to listen to criticism. And of course, criticism also matters on delivery. But even
Of
even
course.
even criticism that's delivered in the worst way possible, there still could be ounces of truth in there and should still be looked at. And you know what I've discovered is if you just tackle that with kindness, it seems to diffuse a lot of the situation, because I've seen people say, oh, X game isn't worth that, or oh, I don't like X game, and all my response is, I'm sorry you feel that way.
Yeah.
We feel differently. Maybe you'll give the game a chance, and if you do, I hope you enjoy it, and if you don't, I hope you enjoy the next game you play.
Yeah.
And that's it. I don't wish ill
Yeah.
will on anybody.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that we live in a society now where some people are scared to speak their mind out of fear of retribution, and that's
Yeah.
not a free country at that point. We
No.
should be allowed to speak our mind, and say our piece, and again, a lot of it is just it's done to improve. It's done because you expect some improvements or you hope for some improvements, and that's, at the end of the day, that's really what it is. And some people like it, some people don't, some people can take it, some people can't.
Yeah.
And it's just about finding that balance. And if someone can't take it, you know what, find a way you can communicate to them, as long as they're open to communication. And
I
if they're
think-
open, then just have a ball.
I think a lot of it stems from our society, and this is even outside of gaming. This is just our society as a whole. And what I've noticed, because I'm an analyzer, dude, and I hate it. I hate it. I hate my mind sometimes because, like, oh man, I feel like it's like I have a mix of old man syndrome, and I don't like it because I'm not old, by any sense of the mean. But the thing is our society deems criticism as weakness. It's not weakness. It's just
No.
okay. Like, we have to be more accepting of criticism now. As you had said earlier, it doesn't mean you get a pass to be an asshole and say,
No.
"Oh, your company sucks," and say whatever. Like, that's wrong. That's not okay.
No, but
it's your opinion, you're entitled to it.
I mean, if you feel something is predatory, call it out.
Absolutely.
Like THQ did those, like, what, $350 collector's editions or whatnot.
Oh, I hated those, and yes.
Like it was a whole bunch. Destroy All Humans had one. I think Darksiders might have. Like, to me, those are predatory. When Square Enix says, here's a Terra statue for $12,000, that's predatory. And they should be called out on that.
Yeah.
And you know what? If someone gets upset about it, maybe instead of getting upset, ask, why do you feel this is predatory? If THQ said, oh, you feel this is predatory, well, let us sit down and let us explain to you
Let's be
our
rational.
reasoning behind this.
Yes.
Here's what it costs. Here's what we feel it's worth. Here's what we're, the just, and you know what, you could say, oh, you know what, I didn't realize it was cost that much, or it did this stuff. And you know what, at the end of the day, okay, I get you. I understand. But if you just come out and say, here's what it is, if you want it, you need to pay this price, and someone says that's a little too rich for my blood, like that I don't feel it's worth it, would you consider lowering your price or maybe selling things piecemeal? Open up that communication. They could always say no, but it's just call out practices if you feel they're strongly against them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for calling out, like, EA for loot boxes or their poor all that stuff. Call that out, by all means. Call that out. Okay.
Games for service, Babylon's Fall.
The thing is, too, is I feel that it works both ways, in the sense of, oh my God, Babylon. It works in the sense of, I think that people also are afraid to give praise to a company that has had a lot of toxicity and has had that issues. Because, for instance, we're going to get into this for just a brief second. I'm not trying to delve away from you guys.
No, of course.
But we're talking about gaming. Take, for instance, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. EA put that game out. That's an amazing Star Wars game.
Yes.
There's no loot boxes. There's no pay to win. There's no microtransactions. It's a game. They gave people a good Star Wars game, even though they really screwed up and put out Battlefront 1 and 2 with all that.
Which got better after they took out the loot boxes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they didn't get as much praise as they deserved. Because I feel that, yeah, they were overshadowed by their poor practices. But hey, look, man, at the end of the day, my job is I have to somewhat remain unbiased, which is hard to do from a gaming journalistic point of view, which I think a lot of YouTube channels fail to do, because you have various YouTube channels out there, and I've made some tweets about this, that there are tweets out there that are very hardcore fanboyish. That's fine.
Mhm.
But if this game came out on your company you love so much, would you give them the same criticism? That's how I look at it. But, I think EA did a really great job with that game, and they didn't get the criticism they deserved. Partially their fault from before, but you still have to give credit where credit is due. And that's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people. And
it's also admitting wrong. Like, okay,
Yeah.
you know what? I was wrong about this. You've changed.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't want to admit they're wrong.
Nope.
And sometimes, it works. Like, look at the Sonic movie, right? If
Yes.
people
that was a
criticize
great
that.
form of outrage. We
People
all banded together for
criticize.
that.
And you know what? They could have just said, screw you all, and released it. But they listened. And movie did better. And then the second movie came out, and people criticized the poster because they didn't give Tails actresses the credit that she
Yes.
deserves. And they re-released the poster with the name there. Oh, you're right. That is a criticism.
Yes.
And you know what? And then they get praise for listening, praise
Yes.
for being able to. Now, I'm not saying every criticism is valid, and I'm not saying every criticism can be rectified like that, like, changing a poster. But you know what? It absolutely is deserving when they do listen, when it's justifiable. Absolutely. And that goes for
what Barry is saying is that if you don't like the price, doesn't mean you guys can complain about it and they're going to lower the
No,
lower the
that means
price.
you're allowed to
Because it's
say your
justifiable
piece. You're
Yeah.
allowed to say your piece, and
Yes.
and all I ask is you understand where we're coming from in terms of that, and you give it a chance, especially if you haven't seen the higher quality yet. Like see that first, get a judgment.
Yes.
There was another case. The biggest example I could think of is Final Fantasy 14. That game launched back in 2010, and it was
Yes.
abysmal. I hated 1.0. Most people did. It got terrible reviews. That was just, this game should have died, and instead
They resuscitated that
brought
game.
it
Oh man.
back. They brought it back. They listened to people.
Yes.
And they brought it back to a point now that it's celebrated, and it's an amazing title. And that is a Cinderella story, and that's how it
It
should
really
be.
is.
That's how it should be.
Yeah.
If you release something and it's crappy, fix it if you can. If you do something and it's wrong, if you do something too quickly or you do something too sloppily, own it. Like, we made a mistake, right? On Demon's Tier, we made a mistake. We accidentally put the wrong ESRB rating on the cover. We didn't realize it, and all the times reviewing it, it was our error, and we realized it after it had been printed and sealed in shrink wrapped in. So we said, what do we do? Do we put, like, ESRB is like, well, you could put a sticker on all of them, and that involved opening up the slip covers and putting it in. Or, what do we do? So we decided to reprint, all 5,000 inlays with the proper ESRB and include it for free with everybody's order.
That's
so
cool.
you could turn it as a mini poster if you want for the inlay art, or you can put the proper ESRB in your case. And that was our solution. And if you're a sealed collector, you're not going to have it sealed with that ESRB proper. But we ate the cost. We ate the cost of reprinting. We ate the cost of reshipping that to our warehouse, and then obviously make sure it was picked and included in every single order. And we ate that cost because we screwed up. And that happens. We owned the mistake. That's what you have to do.
Yeah, and that's what any good business has to do, whether it's in the gaming industry or not. You have to own it, and that's why a lot of times people don't like EA, is because they don't own it. They still don't own it. They still think that what they did was all right. They went to court over it. They went as far as to go to court about their loot box bullshit. But the thing is watching the Series 4 Direct. I think Josh's video. Like, he's back. But the thing
I'm just
about
really still.
No, he's frozen. He's just standing still. No, but the thing I liked about the Direct, and there's another thing we got to talk about too. I don't want to forget, is you guys' transparency. You guys introduced everybody to the team.
Mm-hmm.
You showed everybody who works for, I would imagine that's for the most part everybody that works for the company, to be transparent about it. Like, look, this is who we are. We're people, man. We have families. We have lives. We're human, dude.
That's one of the reasons.
Yeah.
We looked at the messaging that we had and the marketing we had, and we realized there was a lot of people who didn't know a lot about us. They thought only one person worked or two people worked, or and three. And obviously those that are in the direct are front and center, so people know who we are.
Yes. Yeah.
But if we were to say we do everything, we would be lying. And we really want to make sure that we convey that we are a team. We're a passionate team. We're a team that works together and has discussions and meets, multiple times a day, and really tries to hammer things out to the best of our abilities. And because we're still a small company, we all wear many hats. And we absolutely wanted to call attention to everybody that contributes to the team, because we're not only are we passionate about the developers and the games we put out, but we're passionate about our own team members. And we wanted to put that front and center. Here's everybody. Here's who does these things. And we want to give them the credit that they absolutely deserve, because everybody on the team goes above and beyond, and they're truly wonderful people. And I'm honored and privileged to call them, not only my coworkers, but my friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can definitely tell that you guys all love what you do.
Yeah.
We do.
You guys are a very passionate group of people to come together and do this. And one thing I wanted to mention, and I didn't forget it, is tell me about the premium edition classic
series.
Classic series. Yes.
Yes.
So how did this idea come together?
So
it's cool. It's really cool, by the way. I dig it.
It's really cool. I wish I could say I did it. I didn't know. This is actually Jeff came up with this idea. We just in conversation with people. I was not a part of those conversations. He told me afterwards what he had been doing, and when I found out, I was like, "Oh my God, you're a genius!" It really, there's such a amazing community of developers for systems of yesteryear, if you will, and they still put out brand new releases for the NES, the Super Nintendo, Game Boy, Genesis, Neo Geo, Vectrix, they're Virtual Boy. They're all doing it, and people, these are so passionate in doing this. So what we were able to do, and again, this is all because of one of our team members who we introduced, Christopher Arnold, who's a wonderful programmer, and he's building this game for us. And what it is a collection of 10 NES aftermarket homebrews from 10 very talented programmers and developers. And we're so privileged to bring this list of titles. We've got War Bodies, Binder's Tale, you got Nessie the Robot, Space Raft, Ninja 1 and 2, you got Kubo 3, you got Assimilate, Jester, Era the Crow Maiden, Doodle World, and Yaya BB's 2. We've got them all in one physical package that when you pop it in, it's going to be one game, and it boots up, and you get to choose which game you want. And we got borders because they're NES games. These are NES games. These games play on the NES, so do not expect like Switch enhancements. These are literally the NES game playing on the Switch.
Nice.
And we wanted that authentic feeling, and we are so happy about it. And not only that, we have some bonus games even thrown in addition to that. That's only on the physical. It's just a nice little bonus. We really want to hammer home that this is a passion project. So we have we have a standard premium that's going to have the same treatment, and we have a retro.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. Yeah.
We haven't shown off the retro yet, but there will be a retro edition for this as well. This is its own series. This is not Series 4. This is not Series 5. This is its own thing, and that's coming summer 2022.
Nice.
And we are so excited about this, and the developers are all so passionate. They've expressed their joy to finally be able to talk about this. And there's so many other developers out there that love this idea, and we're excited to work with them. And if you notice, right on the cover, it says Volume 1, because we are absolutely planning for more.
Yeah. Awesome, man. I'm super stoked. You guys, when you first came on the Dragon Cast,
Mm-hmm.
years back. It's so great to see how much you guys have grown as a company, man. I love it because now I've always been known amongst other people as I've really catered more towards the indie game companies, the smaller companies, because the struggle is real, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You guys don't have a big budget. You guys are not, you don't have Rockstar Games budget, right? You don't have Sony's budget. You don't have these big budgets like that. And a lot of this is coming out of pocket and things like that. And I love it, man. You can definitely tell that this company you guys have put together is you guys are very passionate about games. And I meant to ask you this, and I don't know if I've asked you this before. When you guys started this company, when the company was being formed, why Switch games? Why specifically Nintendo Switch? Why? Because there's tons of games. There's lots of great indie games that don't have a digital release on the Xbox, on the PlayStation Network, for instance. Why specifically? I think I know why, but why specifically the Nintendo Switch?
Well, we all love the Switch in the team, but, and here's a big but, we never stated that we were only going to do Switch forever. So there's always possibilities. Now, I will tell you this. If you're hoping for any type of Xbox, that will most likely never happen. And I'll tell you the main reason for it. I know I see you sad. The main reason is Microsoft has an stupid high minimum.
Yes.
Their minimum print is 100,000 units.
Oh, wow.
And that
wow, it's that high? I had heard.
That
I heard
is
rumors
so.
about that.
If we were able to do it, I would absolutely do it because I love all systems. But
yeah,
that is just, honestly, it's just too high, and that's why you don't see anybody else. It's not just us. You don't see.
I wondered about that too because I don't think Limited Run does anything like that.
I think they announced that they would be starting it, but they're the only ones, and everybody else, it's just too much.
I wondered what that was about. Yeah. Jesus.
And so it's all Microsoft. I don't know why they do it that high. Because I would love to do some Microsoft, Xbox.
Oh yeah, man.
Digital stuff, of course.
Yeah.
But we're always looking at what we can do, and we've all fallen in love with the Switch, and we do have things in the pipeline already. But obviously we're doing the classic series, but we never say never to any other system, of course. Except
I personally think what I would love to see.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big PC gamer, but man, some Steam games would be pretty dope. And I know that'd be kind of weird because you're not going to get a cart. But it'd be kind of cool to see some Steam games have like their own little box, and
I mean that you can find people do that on Etsy and stuff, but when you're dealing with it, there is no physical. In fact, most computers nowadays don't even come with a disk drive anymore.
I know,
which is so weird to me. I'm like, no, I want a disk drive on every one. I have to have a CD player.
Is so weird, yeah.
So that I think when you're dealing with physical PC, that ship has sailed. I think they're too much ingrained in the digital and Steam, of course.
Yeah.
But when it comes to consoles, it will still be there.
Yeah. That's cool. So there's a possibility of other consoles, which it sounds like that would just be a Sony thing. That's cool. That's cool to know that's a possibility later. Because I can think of some really great Sony games that I know don't have, as far as I know, a digital copy.
Well, always send me a DM. And we're always taking suggestions. In fact, we listen to the fans when they suggest different games. I mean, not everything will pan out. We can't always say, oh yeah, this will definitely work, but we absolutely do reach out and discuss, and if we can make things happen, we'll make things happen.
So let me ask you this, if you're able to tell me. So when you guys were looking for Series 4 games, how many did you have on the list, and how long did it take to cut down to? Like, do you get, like, when you're scouting, so I think we kind of talked about this at the beginning of the show, when you're scouting, do you just say, okay, here's 10, let's cut it down to 2, or cut down to 4? Is it like that, or do you already have an idea?
We move slower. What we do is we'll, if we find a game we like, we'll reach out, and if communications happen and they work, then we'll say, all right, well, our next available slot is this. And if we say, all right, we have you with this series, but we just got another game that would maybe pair better with the other game we have, do you mind if we push you back? Some developers are like, okay, and if not, we'll figure things out. Sometimes things fall into our lap, and we'll always reserve that third spot for one of those titles. Like Mighty Fight Federation fell into our lap. There was
Yeah.
we thought there was going to be DLC, so we're like, all right, this is going to be a Series 4 title. That was Mighty Fight was supposed to be Series 4,
Yeah.
and they're like, oh no, it's done. Like it's everything's good, and we're like, okay, let's throw it in Series 3. Like let's just do it, because it fell into our lap. We were honored to be able to do like Ukulele and Toe Jam and Earl and Miriam and Ricky and Kunio. Like those are really cool.
Yeah.
So we're happy about being able to use those characters and be able to promote and show that game, because that game's a blast. And things like that. If something falls into our lap like that, we will take advantage of. But for the most part, it's like right now we're booked for Switch for the entire year. And anyone we do talk with right now, it's like, look, we're going to be honest with you. Our spots are now open to 2023 because we go slowly. And it's one of those things where developers are starting to see like, oh, if I go out with Premium Edition, I am getting that higher quality. I'm getting that event release. There's so few per year that it's something special. And we really treat every one of our releases as something special. Because
my other question too is, say a game has a sequel.
Okay.
So, like, say there's a Rain on Your Parade 2.
Mm-hmm.
Do you already have a lock on getting a?
We don't have a lock. We will definitely reach out, and hopefully the developer will say, yeah, we loved working with you. We want to work with you again. We value our relationships with our developers.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
If that's meant to be, that's meant to be. But no, nothing's locked. We don't lock anything. But we do have developers who we've worked with that have told us, like, oh, I'm working on my next game, and you guys get first shot at it.
Oh, that's actually really cool.
With you.
That's really cool. That's
what we want. We want to build a relationship, I always tell people, like, look, if we're gonna, or tell developers, like, if we're approaching you about this game, and we're talking about this game, this isn't just a meeting about this game. This is a meeting about a partnership with the company, and we want to do multiple releases. We really want to build that relationship, and that's what we're looking for. We always want to make friends with everybody.
Yeah, because you're boosting their success, and it's.
Yes.
It's a trade-off, and it's
an absolutely trade-off.
It's kind of how it should be in the gaming industry, right? Isn't it really?
You scratch my back, I scratch yours.
Shouldn't it be like, shouldn't we be celebrating video games, not trying to kill each other over them?
That's how it should be. That's how the world should be.
That's how it should be. And especially when one company becomes successful, competition breeds competition, right? So I mean, the better you guys succeed, the more you guys can give back. And that's why, like, when I saw the price increase, I was like, they're not just doing this for no reason, man. Like, they're doing this to give you more. You're going to get more. That's
like, there's another thing we're doing too, which is a bonus. We did it for Series 3. We didn't really advertise it as much in Series 3, but we are advertising it for sure in Series 4. And it's right there in the pictures too, is we have an exclusive bonus when you do a pre-order on premiumeditiongames.com. So if you do order Series 4 directly from us, we are giving you for free a dog tag per game as an exclusive bonus. And we did this with the Gamers for Gamers Demons tier. Series 3 pre-orders also have them. All Gamers for Gamers versions will have them. And these are beautiful dog tags. They're printed. It's not a sticker. It's all engraved in there. You can feel the image. And we're also doing our previous releases as a bonus that we're going to have on the webpage with a chain. And we're going to be selling that come May 10th as well. Because right during the pre-order window for Series 4, we're going to do that as right there on the webpage. So if you pre-ordered Series 3 and you're going to pre-order Series 4 and you want a chain with all of them, you can do that. We're doing that as so that's something else we're throwing in there. So if that's just an addition. We're eating the cost on it. We just want to do something really cool for everybody, and we like that. We like to do cool stuff.
Do you guys have any do you guys have any appearances you guys gonna have coming up soon? Any cons or any game expos? I know the Midwest Gaming Classic was past weekend up in Milwaukee. Are you guys gonna be making any local or any convention appearances or anything like that later?
So we did just do Midwest, which was a blast. I didn't get to go, but I've heard many stories from it, and that was all good.
Man, I wanted to go to that so bad. Man.
We got I did want to go to that. We have the next one is I believe Anime Blues, which is June 10th. We have Too Many Games coming up in June 26th.
Okay.
Southeast Game Exchange, which will be July 9th.
Nice.
Classic Game Fest in July 23rd.
Okay.
Game On in August 5th. Retro World is August 27th. Retro Game Con down in October as well. So we do have some appearances that we're going to be. You know, different team members are going to be.
That's awesome.
We're going to be there.
You're
so
busy.
Busy. Yeah. Busy. Well, that's awesome, man. Well, thank you, Barry. That's all the time we got today for this episode of The Next Level. Thank you so much for being on our show again. And, you're always welcome to come on here and promote Premium Edition games. Or if you want to just come on here and talk video games.
Hell yeah.
We can do a whole video game episode.
Anytime. I would be honored. Thank you.
I love that. I love talking games with you. And you guys, when this releases, this is coming out on Monday. You guys will be able to pre-order starting tomorrow on May the 10th for the Series 4 Direct. And all I can say is have patience with these guys. You are going to get your games. Don't worry. They're going to get them to you as soon as they can. Like he said, with everything going on, I understand, man. I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But you guys got Raja coming out in the future. You've got your Classic Collection Volume 1. Which also is something to look out for as well. That will also be available. That's coming out later, right? Or is that going to be available on May 10th to pre-order?
No. That one's coming out in the summer. That's after.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, you guys can look forward to that as well in the summer. But the guys at Premium Edition have a lot of great things in the works coming out. As you heard Barry just say, that they're booked through the whole entire year, so they got stuff cooking up, and I'm sure it's all going to be very amazing, right, Barry?
That's the goal. So yes, anyone listening, please make sure premiumeditiongames.com. May 10th till June 10th is the pre-order window. The retro editions are only limited to 500 copies. So if you do want to get those, make sure you get those orders in as soon as possible. Once they sell out, they're sold out. And like last time, Cathedral and Phoenotopia, they sold out pretty quickly. But the standard premiums are open pre-order, so make sure you get your order in. We try and give you an ample amount of time to get that done. So
absolutely. Josh, did you have any other questions for Barry before we close out this episode, man?
I was just gonna say that I was looking at a lot of the stuff that comes with the different tiers and stuff, and those dog tag add-ons were pretty neat. So you were talking about it, and that's actually really cool.
Yeah. The for those that view, I can actually show you one of the dog tags. This is the Demons tier one, and you can see it is really beautiful.
It's very nice quality,
and it is two-sided. Like this is the Gamers for Gamers, but the other ones will just have the PE logo on the back. So it's two-sided dog tags, and that's a bonus. That's just our way of saying thank you. So hopefully you get the chain, you get to wear your dog tags and wear them with pride, and got to collect them all.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
man.
Exactly. That adds a whole nother level to it.
Yep.
I love that. I love it, man. Well, we look forward to you. We're gonna have you on here for Series 5. We already know that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And we're looking forward to that. And thank you, Barry, so much once again for being on this episode of The Next Level, guys. Thank you to those of you that listen to our show every week. We're gonna have some more great guests we're cooking up in the future. We know the Mortal Kombat is going to turn 30 in September, and we're looking forward to having those guys on our show later on this year. Looking forward to bringing them on to do a special Mortal Kombat anniversary episode. Can't wait for that. Until then, we'll see you guys, and have yourselves a great rest of your week. Take it easy, y'all.